All right, so you've just fired up a new piece of software, and boom, you're staring at a wall of knobs and faders, right? We've all been there. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the biggest, most powerful tools in music production, VST Avenger 2. And trust me, by the end of this, you're going to see it's not some scary monster. It's an absolute powerhouse you can tame. So, let's dive right in.
Okay, let that sink in for a second. That quote isn't just marketing fluff. People are making entire, release-ready tracks. I mean, everything. The drums, the bass, the pads, the leads, all from one single instance of Avenger. This thing isn't just another synthesizer, you know? It's basically a whole production suite packed into one plugin.
So, what's the secret sauce here? How can it do so much? Well, it all comes down to one magic number: 8. You get 8 of pretty much everything you could possibly need. We're talking 8 oscillators, 8 arpeggiators, 8 step sequencers. You see where this is going, right? And this isn't just about stacking stuff for the sake of it. It's about having the creative freedom to build these incredibly deep, complex sounds that truly feel like they're living and breathing.
Okay, so we're navigating the cockpit. Let's get a handle on the main interface. Because let's be real, all that power is useless if you don't know where anything is. At first glance, it might look like a lot, but I promise, it's actually laid out in a super logical way. Let's break it down.
See? The whole thing is really just split into 3 simple zones. Over on the left, that's your library. Pretty straightforward. That's where you find all your sounds and presets. The big area in the middle, that's the engine. That's the heart of it all, where you actually build and shape your sounds. And then down at the bottom, you've got your control panel, which handles all the fun stuff like effects, modulation, and performance controls. Left, middle, bottom. That's right up at the very top. That's your mission control. You've got your preset browser, your master output, you know, the usual suspects. But there's a feature here that is an absolute lifesaver, the undo button. And check this out, it doesn't just undo a knob tweak, it even undoes preset changes. So, if you've been working on a patch for an hour, you accidentally click a new preset and your heart stops, don't worry. One click and it's all back. Seriously, game changer.
All right, let me give you a quick pro tip that'll make Avenger feel like your synth right from the start. You know how every time you open a synth, it starts with that same boring, dry saw wave? Well, you can change that. You can set a custom init patch. Just think about it. Every time you load a fresh Avenger, it could already have your favorite filter settings, maybe a nice bit of reverb and delay, all ready to go. All you got to do is make a patch you like, save it, and then head over to the System tab to set it as your default. It's a huge time saver.
All right, next up, the sound sources. This is where your music really begins. We're diving deep into the engine now, right into the heart of it all, the oscillators. This is where we start making some actual noise.
But honestly, just calling them oscillators kind of sells them short. I mean, yeah, you've got your basic analog waves, your saws and squares, but you also get some seriously advanced stuff. There's wavetable synthesis, so you can smoothly morph between totally different sounds. There's granular synthesis, which is amazing for creating these huge atmospheric textures. You can even load up multi-samples like a real piano, or even resample audio right inside Avenger itself. It's way more than just a basic synth.
And managing all 8 of those slots is dead simple. You just click to add, mute, or solo them. But let me give you one piece of advice that will save you so much pain down the road. Rename your oscillators. Seriously, when you're 3 hours deep into a patch and you've got a bass, a pluck, and 2 pads all running at once, you will be so glad you labeled everything. Trust me on this one.
Okay, moving on to shaping and routing sound, figuring out the path your audio takes. So we've made our raw sounds. Now it's time to mold them, to give them some personality. This is the part where a sound stops being generic and starts becoming your sound.
And a huge part of that is understanding signal flow. It's everything really. In the routing panel, your sound travels from the top down, passing through all the different modules you've set up. The best way to think about it is like a guitar pedal board, right? You wouldn't get the same sound if you put your reverb pedal before your distortion pedal. The order matters a lot. And it's exactly the same concept here.
Now, with all these different modules, it can be easy to kind of get lost in the interface, but Avenger has this awesome little navigation trick built right in. If you're trying to find, say, Filter 2, instead of clicking through all the tabs, just find it in the routing panel on the side, right-click on it, and boom, it jumps you right to it. It's such a simple thing, but it saves so much time.
And man, while we're talking about modules, we have to mention the filters and shapers. They are just fantastic. You've got tons of different filter types, including that classic TB filter. You know the one. It's got that really unique, squelchy, resonant sound that's the absolute soul of Acid House. And then the shaper module? Wow. You can use it to add just a little bit of warm analog grit, or you can crank it up and just completely obliterate your sound.
It's incredibly versatile.
Okay, next section, bringing sound to life. Let's talk about modulation. So far, we've created a sound, and we've shaped it with filters and stuff. But it's just kind of sitting there. It's static. It's boring. To make it interesting, to make it evolve and move over time, we need modulation.
So, let's think about a practical example, something you'd actually do in a track. Picture this. You're building up into a huge epic drop. You've got this cool guitar riff playing, but you want it to fade out perfectly as this massive synth lead fades in to take its place. So how do you get that transition to be perfectly smooth and powerful every single time?
Well, in a lot of sense, that could be a real headache. But in Avenger, it's ridiculously easy. It's all drag and drop. You literally just click on a modulation source, like an LFO or an envelope, drag your mouse over to whatever knob you want to control, and let go. A little dial pops up, you set how much you want it to move, and you're done. It's so intuitive.
So, to pull off that transition trick, here's what you do. You grab a mod envelope and you draw a simple shape that turns the guitar's volume down over, say, 4 bars. Easy enough. But here's the brilliant part. You can then just copy that envelope, paste it to a new slot, hit the invert button, and then drag that onto the synth's volume. And just like that, you have 2 sounds moving in perfect opposition. One fades out as the other fades in, perfectly synced every time. It's so clever.
All right, we're almost there. Let's talk about polishing with effects and macros. These are the final touches, the stuff that takes a good sound and makes it sound truly professional.
And when I say polish, I mean it. Just look at the effects potential here. You've got 4 separate FX racks, a send rack, and a master rack. And here's the crazy part. Each one of those racks can hold up to 8 effects. You can literally build an entire vocal chain or a complex mastering chain right inside Avenger without reaching for a single other plugin. It's insane.
And then there are the macros, for when you want to actually perform with these sounds. You get a whopping 20 of them. You can assign a whole bunch of different parameters to just one single knob. So imagine turning one knob that opens up a filter, adds more reverb, and maybe even cranks up some distortion all at the same time. It lets you transform your sound on the fly and turn your patches into real expressive instruments.
So there you have it. That's a quick tour of Avenger. It's so much more than a synth. It really is like having a whole studio in one plugin. And believe me, we have barely even scratched the surface of what this thing can do. So the only real question left is, now that you've seen what's under the hood, what kind of sound are you going to build first?